Pierre, what's your MVP? Is it Jokic or SGA?
It's SGA. It's SGA. And I shout out to Jokic. He made it a conversation. The 60-point triple double was super, super dope. I think he's a guy that at this point embodies what the MVP is, the most valuable player. But I just think that the season that the Thunder are having under Shai, the way he's doing it, as efficient as he is, as unstoppable as he's been at the guard position. Chet has missed a lot of time, and they've not let up at all. And the Western Conference is what we deem as a tougher side of the conference. They've handled it with ease. He has moments. It's SGA. He checks every box of what you would want from an MVP winner. So I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
What have you thought about the foul baiting narrative?
I get it because of the day and age that we're in, but I don't like it at all. You know, I'm a Knicks fan, so they try to say the same thing about Brunson. And
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, Brunson is 5'10", 5'11". I know what they might list him as, but when you're that small and you got a Jaden McDaniels guarding you, people really think Jalen Brunson is supposed to sit at the top of the key and bag his
break him down. Come here.
Yeah, every single time. No, you're going to use your size to your advantage because everybody else is going to use their size at their advantage. So, I think it's a fine line between being creative, and I think that's what Shai is. Don't get me wrong. I think every player in the NBA has plays where it's like he's baiting or come on, man. But everybody does that. Every team has a player that is doing that. And can it get a little bad? For sure. But it's not bad enough for me to go around being anti-Shai or say he doesn't deserve the MVP. And, hey, it's a part of the game. You want to get to the free throw line if you're a volume scorer. The game is played to score as many points as you can, as easy as you can. And the free throw line should always be, especially for a guard, the easiest way to get points. And it gets the primary defender to the bench sooner, which allows it to be easier for you to score. So how could you not like Shai? I can't believe Shai don't.
You know how it goes, P. You know how it goes.
You're right. He was a guy 2 years ago.
Too long. Exactly.
You're right.
Yeah, I feel like
Tatum was the golden child. People think like he was the golden child. They loved him. He was next, and now everybody hates Jason Tatum. Now SGA starting to ascend. Oh, he's about to take MVP away from Jokic. How could they do that? Jokic, all jokes now. Jokic, bad man. Top 3 in assists, points, rebounds, steals. He has done a great job to make a case for himself. Let's not lie. Of course, he is more than fair to be in this conversation. SGA makes scoring look way easier than it should. There is not a guy that makes as many difficult shots as him and is as efficient as SGA is and has been this entire season.
On a low volume shot.
On a low-volume shot, DK, where now, of course, the mid-range game has become obsolete, where he's made it relevant again. And this is not meant to be a shot. I think Donovan Mitchell has been great this season. If it were a case where we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, they are the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference. They have damn near the same amount of wins as the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know they've fallen off a little bit recently, but if it were the case where it was the Cavs, and of course, let's just live in a world where OKC doesn't exist right now, I think that you pair the fact that SGA has been so amazing on top of the team's success. That's the main reason why I look at SGA, and that's the MVP, where if it were like the Cavaliers, where the Cavaliers are this overwhelmingly great team, but you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell who has been great in his own right, but he hasn't been overwhelmingly better than the majority of the field. Now I'm here back on the side of Nikola Jokic is the MVP, but when you have the season that SGA is having, the efficiency that SGA is having, the dominant scoring that he's having, and on top of it, we're talking about one of the best two-way players in the game as well. I think that I am more than okay with SGA lifting that trophy at the end.
Hey, Jokic was so good, it could only be somebody having a season
That's a fact.
Jay is having to win it, where he's being as dominant and the team success is matching. Only this type of season would have beaten Jokic out. So I don't think it's the L or anything for Jokic. Is also a guy who's won it so many times that we lose and count at this point. So I'm just happy that voters fatigue wasn't the reason Jokic isn't going to be the MVP. It was literally an all-time season from a young player.
Also, Jokic would be the first ever to have points, rebounds, assists, and steals to be top 3. So I can understand when at the end it's not unanimous that SGA is not the MVP. Jokic is going to get a few first-place votes because of the season he's had.
Absolutely. And talking about historic, it's not only been Shea, but the team as a whole. You're playing at a 69 win
fact.
pace right now. If you look at the best regular seasons of all time, it's the third highest winning percentage. Can always change, of course. You can always have a team
Mhm.
right off a few losses, a few wins. But in this moment in time, you're looking at a Thunder team where they've been missing a lot of guys throughout the season, whether it was I Hart the start or Chet for a better half of it. And even with that, they've been the best defense. Shea's been a part of that as a plus, very good defender. And then on the offensive end, we always look at free throws, and Shea's one of the craftiest scorers in recent history. And so there are some things he does that people don't like, but you have to have the perspective. If you're to take free throws away, this is someone that's still giving you 25 a night without them to begin with. And he's making over 70% of his shots at the rim. Or sorry, yeah, over 70% at the rim, 50% from mid-range, and 38% from three as well. So in terms of scoring, there's really not a blemish that he has because he's doing everything at a high end to, when it comes to mid-range shooting, a level better than anybody else. So my MVP is also Shea. I think, like you guys highlighted, it's been one of the best races we've seen in recent years. And it's nice to feel like voter fatigue or narratives aren't getting in the way because Shea's case this year is that special where you talk about the greatest seasons in guard history. You've got Prime Harden, you've got Dwayne Wade in '09, but the difference is this Thunder team is going to win 20 more games than that Heat team. So, he's going to win this MVP and it will be incredibly deserved.
Outside of Steph Curry, every guard that has averaged 30 has shot more free throws than SGA per game when in their 30-point per game season. So he's not even like, when you look at the stats, like he doesn't even follow the narrative where he's like the biggest foul baiter because he shoots the lowest volume of free throws in terms of everybody that has averaged 30. I love when multiple people win awards. In football, I was a big advocate for Josh Allen winning it over Lamar because Lamar has 2 MVPs and Josh Allen got his and he deserved it. And in the NBA, Jokic is having a historic season, but so is SGA. And SGA is contributing to one of the best defenses that we've ever seen. And if you would have told me 4 years ago that he would have won an MVP over Tatum, over Luka, I think everybody would have thought that you were out of your mind. But it speaks to how much he's developed in this time frame. And I think SGA has a chance to do something that we haven't seen in a very long time in the NBA. And I think that's win MVP and also win the NBA championship this year. I think he has a legitimate case for it. In other seasons, Steph Curry could have done it in 2016. He wasn't able to. I think he did it in 2015 when he won a championship and won MVP. So I think SGA is on that type of trajectory, and it can happen. It's just a question of whether or not OKC is ready around him because he's ready, but will they hit their shots? Because we saw last year in the playoffs, they didn't hit their shots.
P, let me ask you a genuine question. Where does this sit for you amongst best guard seasons you've ever seen? And you could answer it broadly. You don't have to give us like, oh, it's the top
Seventh.
five. Yeah,
Is
for
it
real.
better than 2019 Harden?
This is where I'm going to be completely transparent and completely honest. And I've never said this on my platform or numbers on the board. Just going to be honest with y'all. For me, you're asking for me.
For you.
For me. This is unfair. But to me, some are just a tad bit better.
Okay.
Just because, and this is going to sound crazy. The way OKC was destroying so many teams, I can't sit here and act like I was just locked into every single thing Shai did because they handled teams easily.
You're not watching 40-point blowouts.
Exactly. So a lot of my attention was there, but I do have firm moments like the Knicks game when we were in OKC. I think they took over and Aaron Wiggins did his shit, but Shai was really, really good in that game. You know what I mean? Like
I'm with you. The Cavs game.
The Cavs game when they had no big or whatever, like
Celtics games. And he showed up to every big game.
Yeah, he got his moments. Don't get me wrong. But I think me personally, I was just a little bit tapped in more into a few others. Like I think from a statistical standpoint and just an overall dominance, this will rank higher than Harden for a lot of other people. But I was there for a lot of the Harden shit. Though the Rockets were dominant, they were chasing the Warriors. And that is a bit of a narrative and a fan perspective for me. That is going to be a little bit more interest for me. But even with that being said, this is still like a top 5 one because you got to understand, I wasn't around for no Michael Jordan shit.
No doubt.
But Steph Curry, though the Warriors were dominant, it was still crazy to see somebody at his size dominate the game from the perimeter with a 3-point shot. I had never seen that before. So that was still must-see TV. the James Harden one, just sitting at the top of the key, going to work, threes and layups and fouls, mind blowing. And then the excitement of him potentially taking down the 73. They won the 73, but then they got Kevin Durant. To see him potentially take that team down was crazy. Shai is like top 3, 4. You know what I mean? For me, honestly.
And
The
hearing you
Iverson
talk,
season, I wasn't this old, but I was there for when Iverson.
Like
was
I
doing
put 2016 Steph over it. 2018 Harden, that was the year where they won a lot of games, but it wasn't his best season because 2019 Harden, when he averaged 36 and 7.5 assists, I thought he should have won MVP that year. I still feel that way. Giannis won that year, but Harden,
the Russ season,
the Russ season, it could have been Kawhi.
Oh, you're
Harden.
saying that Harden should have won in 2017.
No. I'm saying the Russ season in this
correct.
conversation.
That's what I was going to say.
Statistical efficiency is all going to team success will all go to Shai.
Yes.
We know that. But the excitement of seeing him carry that team with
you
the
talk about
triple-double,
being there, watching it.
We're just at this point, we're just talking as fans, not as analysts who are, from a fan perspective, you're way more. Every game, the last game of the season mattered.
Facts.
He hit that shot. That is what you want to see from an MVP. And again, I'm not trying to hold this against Shai, because what is he supposed to do? Hey, y'all, let's not beat them that bad. So we
let's be worse.
Yeah. Let's keep the game close for my MVP. No, but like I'm just speaking from like just being honest. That type of shit to me, you remember that for a lifetime. I'll never, and I might never forget the shit Shai is doing either. We're talking 2 MVP seasons, but I would never, ever, and I'm not a Thunder fan. Russell Westbrook ain't like my favorite player of all time. I will never forget that season and some of those moments, and I will never forget that the last shot of the season was like that important for them, and it knocked the Nuggets out of the playoffs, right?
It's just the fact that it was the game that
that
broke
shot
the record.
The Nuggets out of the playoffs.
It was a game winner, and it's just a storyline behind it of Kevin Durant leaving him and then him just having an all-time season.
We never thought we'd see another player average a triple-double in a season.
Ever.
Also, we never thought that we would see somebody break Oscar Robertson's record for triple-doubles in a season. To break that record, he hit the game-winning buzzer beater 3 as well. It was just one of the craziest games, craziest moments I've ever witnessed as a basketball fan. And yeah, SGA probably is more dominant than what Russell was. But you want to talk about moment, you talk about Curry, you talk about Harden, I immediately go to Russ. It was one of the craziest, one of the most historic moments that I can remember. And then he kind of watered it down himself by averaging triple-doubles again and again and again. And it's kind of crazy to think that him being as dominant as he was ruined the allure of that amazing 2017 season, which I won't allow.
Everybody just started doing it after that. Everybody was able to get triple-doubles. It was popularized. Harden got a lot of triple-doubles. Now Jokic is doing it. It just, like, at the time, it was like, who's going to do this again? And then people just started doing it again after that.
Yes. Russell Westbrook, 35-foot shot, knocked Nuggets out of playoffs.
Really? That's crazy. Yep. I just remember it was the game that he broke the record, that he hit the buzzer beater. I didn't know it was also to knock the Nuggets out. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I think you got to put that season up with this SGA season, even though SGA is having like the team success and efficiency.
To wrap this conversation up, you know what's so crazy? When you have these type of conversations, usually what happens is you have such biased fan base that they'll get offended.
It's the same team.
It's the Thunder. They just living so luxurious that it's like, hey, which season do we prefer?
Kevin Durant 2014, Russ 17, Shai now.
Yeah, it's just, they just living so good over there.
Old 3 are the new big 3. Who are you going with? That's just what it is with OKC. But
that is who are y'all going with? I mean, from an individual standpoint, obviously Russ Harden and Kevin Durant, but this new team
I like the new team.
Might win the championship.
Yeah, I like the new team.
They didn't let the old team grow enough. They traded Harden after he won 6th Man of the Year. Like, if they let that team grow, then I think it'd be them, but they didn't. And Westbrook, KD, Harden, that's going to be legendary forever.
The Lung team didn't have this much either. It's funny, some of the parallels, like they went and they traded for Perkins and whatnot. I guess that's like getting Caruso, but like they didn't have a Hardenstein signing, right? True. Like I'm not comparing Cephalosha to Hardenstein. They didn't draft that well to where you got like a Cason Wallace. They got the Isaiah Joes of the world. That whole team didn't have this much.
Yeah.
They didn't have this much.
No.
Like they hit on the Ibakas,
True.
the Adams, but they didn't have. This team is like loaded.
One of the
stacked.
most stacked teams I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.